The irony of Howard Stern endorsing Kamala Harris is that Donald Trump has really become the shock jock of presidential candidates. From his bit in McDonald's to his obsession with Arnold Palmer's putter size at a rally in Latrobe, the king's hometown, really shows that Donald learned as much from Howard Stern as he did from Roy Cohn about how to manipulate the media and how they cover him. Yes, there was a lot of negative coverage about the locker room banter that Donald Trump engaged in during a presidential rally. But if you looked at how many times Trump got mentioned in that news cycle, he outperformed the fact that Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney were campaigning together. Because this is not a conventional presidential campaign. And the mainstream media has been afraid to cover Donald Trump like a regular news story. Because if it was a regular news story, they would point out in every time they reference Trump that he's not a normal presidential candidate. You understand that we have somebody running for president who could not work in the post office. We have someone pretending to work at McDonald's who really couldn't get hired there. Why? Because he has committed 34 felonies. Yes, he is a convicted felon. This is the first time in history that a convicted felon has run for president. It's really a part of what identifies Donald Trump as an unusual candidate. Also unusual, he's the first presidential candidate to be impeached twice. He's the first presidential candidate to be charged with insurrection. A charge that will one day, maybe, if he is an elected president, see a courthouse. We have a candidate who is running for president basically to avoid prison time. But yet, the mainstream media, who is supposed to be so biased, is afraid to cover him because they're afraid that if he gets elected president, he will pull their licenses, which is exactly what he threatened to do the other day. He doesn't like 60 Minutes. So not only is he going to take 60 Minutes off the air when he's the dictator president, but he's going to pull the license of CBS. That's some threat. Not to be taken lightly if you are a business like CBS is a business. Remember when journalists used to be brave? When I was going to college to get a degree in journalism, here is a lesson from Journalism 101. When a dog bites a man, that's not a news story. When a man bites a dog, that is a news story. The fact that Trump is running for president despite being a convicted felon, despite being impeached twice, despite being charged with insurrection, is man bites dog. And should be mentioned every time a newspaper runs a story about Donald Trump. because he is not a normal presidential candidate. These are not normal times. And if he's elected again, our free press will have no one but themselves to blame.